Okay, hi everyone. Hello Swati. Hello Renuka. Thank you for joining in today. I'm Tashi from Lakshmi. Lakshmi is India's first financial platform exclusively for women. And today we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic, which is life insurance. It is not really talked about as much as it should, especially amongst women. And so today, that's exactly what we're going to be addressing. It's an open Q&A. Of course, there are a lot of questions that everyone has sent us in advance, so we're going to be taking up those. If you have more questions, please put them in the comment box. Share this live with your friends, family, everyone who you think will benefit from this. And of course, we have Ms. Priya today with us from ICICI Prudential, who is the subject matter expert, and she's going to be helping us answer all these questions and helping us understand what life insurance is, what is the right time to buy life insurance, is it really for you, how to evaluate a life insurance, and all questions around it. So, hello, Priya. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. You're on mute, Priya, I think.
Good evening, and thank you so much. It's just a pleasure to be on a platform which is for women. Uh, it feels to be very good, and it feels proud to be on a platform which actually maybe if I can use the word honors women and their achievements. Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you so much, Priya. Thank you for being with us today. All right,
It's
so
a
let's
pleasure.
let's get right to it. Let's begin. So, Priya, let's start with the basics, right? If we talk about life insurance, what does the penetration of life insurance look like today in India, and more so for women?
If you look at our population, nearly 48% of our population are made up of women. And unfortunately, life insurance by itself, insurance penetration uh, is very low in India. We still are hesitant when it comes to purchasing life insurance. So when the penetration itself is low on an overall scale, women insurance purchasing is even more lower. So if you are asking statistics, say in the year 2019, around 100 policies sold, only 36 policies were purchased by women. Considering that we make nearly 48% of the population are women. So if you look at those kind of statistics and with the kind of empowerment that is slowly happening with women, you are having more working population of women. Uh, the monetary contribution to a family by a woman is also increasing. Uh, Even though those kind of statistics, if you even you look at the kind of loans that are being now given in banks or other NBFCs, they are seeing a larger intake by women, but still the penetration of insurance is still limited and on the lower scale.
And what do you think is the reason? What do you think are the factors which are really stopping women from considering life insurance as a product for their holistic financial plan?
So, like I said, insurance as a subject itself is still a very uh, delicate subject. I think more so from the way we tend to think about insurance. We still use insurance as an savings or an investment tool. Of course, it is. We can definitely use insurance, uh, but the fact of the pure fact of insurance, that it is to insure, it is to give a life cover, it is to give a monetary benefit to the family in case of the death of the person who has taken the insurance. uh, that kind of a penetration is still on the lower scale, because we are still maybe socially we still don't like to discuss death or like to plan for a life, for something. We still like to think, death doesn't happen to us, it can happen to somebody else. We still like to kind of ignore that fact, and I think
Right.
that is one of the few reasons why insurance penetration itself is on a lower scale, and why these kind of social media or the kind of messaging that you people are doing is very apt and very necessary, because we need to take that message that insurance today is very important. Certain aspects of insurance like a critical illness cover, These are things which do help families in times of need.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So, all right. Now let's talk about if I want to buy health insurance. So, what are the things do I need to consider? And first of all, do I even need a life insurance? Do I even need a life insurance today? Suppose I'm 25 years old or I'm 30 years old. When is the right time to actually buy a life insurance policy?
There is no such time as the right time to buy life insurance. I think the earlier you start, the better it is. Because if you look at a simple way, the way life insurance works, there is a premium, and there are certain components which put together forms the premium. One of the components, of course, is the mortality charges. So as you become older, the mortality charges do tend to go higher. As we grow older, uh, our life, our lifestyles and health may not be the same as it was at a younger age. So when we talk about life insurance, and say when we talk about pure life insurance, which is a term insurance, you need to take it as early as possible. As soon as you start earning, you are bringing in an income to the family. That means if something happens to you, there is a loss of income. See, every person in their family carry a emotional value and a financial value. Emotionally, neither a father or a brother, sister, mother, these are not replaceable. They are irreplaceable. But yes, if they are contributing to the finances of the family, there is a financial loss. What happens when somebody, dies? Emotionally, we are all affected. There is that time of mourning. But when you come out of it, you realize that suddenly from next month, that salary is not coming in. There is a monetary loss. So life insurance helps you get past those difficulties. Now, a person, why does he take life insurance? He takes a life insurance that in case something happens to him, his family gets some kind of monetary cover. Say, if you take my example, I have two daughters, two children. As a parent, my biggest worry today is, my children's educational expenditure, their marriage expenditure, my retirement. So these are certain goals in life. And what life insurance helps us is plan for these goals. It gives a person the assurance that you are irreplaceable to your family emotionally, but these goals don't suffer because of an unfortunate incident. And that's how life insurance is a very integral and important part of the way you would plan your financial planning.
Right.
If I can use the word, it is like a asset creation on day one. What happens is we pay premium, and this premium we pay for a certain period throughout the life of the insurance policy. See, the day I take the insurance premium, uh, and something unfortunate incident happens a month down the line, a road traffic accident, something beyond my control. I am a young life, but beyond my control, a road traffic accident, something happens to me and I die. The I had created that asset with a hope that it'll help my children. So those goals are not being compromised.
Right.
So you're creating a asset for certain goals which you wanted to fulfill.
Right. All right. Which is why it's called a cover, right? It's basically protecting you and your family financially.
Absolutely. It's just like an umbrella that helps you.
Right. All right, Priya. So when we talk about life insurance, what are the different types of life insurance policies present? Because you get to see so many different policies sold by different insurers. I think for a user also, it may get a little confusing as to which is the right one for me. So can we please have some sort of understanding as to what are the different, how can we bucket different life insurance policies present?
Uh, Life insurance starts with, of course, term insurance, which is pure life insurance, which just covers an unfortunate incident. So term insurance is to help the family and the people you are leaving behind to take comfort financially. It helps, replace the gap that the person leaves behind financially in the family. So that's pure term insurance. You have, of course, insurance also helps their customers plan for, through investment and savings. So in investment and savings, you can have products like ULIP, which is equity market exposure. You have endowment, which are the traditional policies. So these are the other types of savings and investment. And of course, there is an insurance cover as a benefit, which we also get with these kind of policies. But term insurance is the part which gives the core insurance cover, pure insurance cover. We have health cover also, like critical illness being added as a rider to some of the
Okay.
products.
Okay. So that means if I talk about the plain vanilla life insurance policy, that is what the term plan is. So that means
Yes.
I pay a premium on an annual basis and I'm getting that insurance cover. There is no element of investment or savings in that. And like you mentioned, there are ULIPs, which are your unit linked investment insurance plans, wherein a part of it is also going into investments and a part of it is also giving you insurance. Uh, However, if I had to choose, right, should I go for a term life or should I go for a ULIP? What are the things that I should consider?
I think the way I look at it is everything should start with term insurance, because that
Right.
is the very basic and
Basic.
it's the most important part
Right.
of insurance. We are an insurance company, it's an insurance industry, and term insurance has to be part of every person who is contributing financially to the family. He brings in a certain financial asset to his family. If something happens to him, like I've always said, emotionally, yes, we cannot replace the person, but financially, can a certain amount help the family, you know, take the
Right.
next few years in a much more controlled manner financially.
Got it.
Uh, so, sorry.
No, no, no. I was just saying Renuka actually asked this question that what is better, life insurance or mutual funds? So, Renuka, I think we have answered your question, right? These are two very different things. Mutual funds are investments where you grow your money, you try to build a corpus for yourself, for your future self. And insurance is a protection cover that you get for your family in case something were to happen to you and your income stream were to stop.
So,
So,
like Renuka asked, mutual fund or insurance?
yeah,
See, mutual fund is a, or any other financial instrument is is a financial tool which helps you save little by little for a goal that you have.
right,
But if you can just picture mentally, there's a triangle. You have your health, you have life, and of course you have the wealth that is right there. You are there on the top. If your
yeah.
health and if you have the life to support, the wealth creation happens. So
Hmm.
for any kind of wealth creation, you have to be there. But if you are
Right.
not there, the finances has to be there to to meet that wealth creation goal.
Correct. Right. All right. And what about these whole life insurance policies, endowment insurance policies? What? How exactly do they function?
Okay, so whole life, like the way it suggests, it's something that has a covered, is a benefit you get till the age of 99.
Okay.
uh, Endowments are capital guaranteed kind of products which tend to give a more subtle returns because the capital is
Okay.
guaranteed. The kind of investments that they do will be more in debt instruments. Equity exposures are very limited in these kind of products. So again, like I said, insurance helps you plan your goals in two methods. One, term insurance, which is pure insurance. Two, the other kind of instruments in insurance sector which help you plan for your goals. So for example, I'll give you my example so that it'll be easier to relate to. I have a daughter, and when she was born, I took an insurance policy where the need was not more from an insurance cover. It was more from creating a wealth when she turns 18.
Okay.
So actually my daughter turns 18 next year. So I will be getting the payment out of that insurance policy. So the goal was that when my daughter is 18, she's going to be, academically at a juncture in life where I would need a corpus to plan her educational this thing. So it is a goal-based saving.
Got it.
And of course, because we are an insurance company, there is an insurance cover which comes with this goal-based saving.
Got it. All right. But you could also go for a term plan and do your goal planning separately with other investments.
So term plan, like the way I keep repeating, it's a very close to me. Term plan, any person who starts earning, who starts working, who has a monetary composition to his or her life, term plan becomes a absolutely essence. It's essential. You have to take a term plan. Young life, the younger you buy, the premiums are cheaper. And you should take it with riders like accidental death benefit rider. You should take critical illness rider, because these are riders which help you, because see, a young life, chances of that person dying due to medical complications are lesser.
Correct.
A chance of a death due to a accidental reason is higher. So these are small riders at a very low cost which help the family get a bigger corpus.
All right.
Okay. And term insurance, I think the biggest benefit, or the person who actually realizes what a term insurance is say a young husband and wife who purchase a home, take a home loan. The very fact that they wanted to build a nest, they wanted to build a asset. Say something happens to the husband, an accident, and he dies. The asset that they've tried to create suddenly becomes a liability, because who's going to pay the EMI? The loan suddenly becomes a burden. When you're earning, the loan, you just service the loan, you pay the EMI. You don't realize that it's a burden because you have built a nest. So the asset suddenly becomes a liability. So term insurance is something which helps you protect your assets and that they remain your assets and don't turn into liabilities.
Got it. All right. Okay, Priya. So moving on, actually Swati had a question. Swati asked, what are the things that one must keep in mind while buying life insurance? Are there any parameters that I should look at if suppose, I have 5 policies in front of me? What are few parameters that I should be evaluating before I choose a policy?
Some of the basic things. See, whenever you're buying a life insurance product, you should understand, why are you buying this product for? What is the reason you're buying this product for? Like I said, if you're an earning member, you're a person, you should take term insurance. If you're taking insurance for your investment purposes, then you should identify the goal for which you're buying it. You should not buy insurance because somebody is coming and selling it to you. It should not be an obligation that somebody came and understand what the insurance is all about. Try to understand the need. So for example, like I gave you, if you're planning for your child's education, then the insurance should be planned in such a way that how many years are you going to pay the premium? When is the amount going to be paid?
Correct.
So for example, if you want a certain amount of money when your child turns 18, but you took the policy, you didn't even understand what the policy was all about, but you're going to get the payment when the child turns 21, then it's not serving the purpose.
Correct.
You're buying, say, a pension policy. You need a pension policy for your retirement planning.
Right.
If it's going to start giving you payout at the age of 40, it's of no use. You're still earning. So what I'm trying to say is you have to learn, you have to understand what are the goals that you're planning for, and how will this insurance, this savings that you're putting through insurance, how is it going to help you reach that goal?
Right.
So there are various products, various insurance companies, there are multiple products available. So you need to understand the number of years of premium you're going to pay, when is the money going to come, and what is the goal you're planning for.
Got it. So Swati, I hope that answers your question. Like we spoke about pure insurance products, which is your term life insurance. Then there are these blended products. Even, with the blended products, like Priya just spoke about, that, there could be different milestones and different goals basis which these products are created. So identifying what is your need, if you want to achieve those goals through investments, compare them with the blended products that are available. If you're only looking for a life cover, which Priya really emphasized on, which is very, very critical and a holistic part of your financial plan, then you should probably go for a vanilla term life plan, along with the riders that also Priya mentioned. All right. Let's get on to the next question. Guys, please, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments box. We're taking them as we go. All right. Can my life insurance be rejected, or can my premium be loaded? And what are the different things that this is dependent on?
So, when we apply or when we take a policy, when you're filling up the proposal form and when you're answering the certain questions, it's always, very, very necessary, because most of the insurance products, you're not going to be there when the money is being paid out. In case of, policies like death. See, of course, there are life insurance policies which are, you will be there. If it's a savings investment products, you're going to, maybe in all probability, you're going to be there to receive the money. But in, like, for example, term insurance, in all probability, term insurance payout happens only on the death of the life assured. So what happens is, you're not there to tell, no, I forgot to tell this or something like that. You're not going to be there to defend at the time of payment. So as a thumb rule, you should always learn to be honest and answer all the questions correctly. Whether it is health questions, whether it is financial questions, or whatever documentation, you should answer to the T and answer it as honestly and truthfully that you can. Because the underwriter underwrites the policy based on the information you have provided. So on all questions that are being asked, it is always better to stick as close to the truth or as close to the facts that you are aware of. You should disclose them.
Okay, right.
So because this definitely helps in the final outcome. Correct. Both at the underwriting stage as well as at the claim stage.
So if I talk about the underwriting stage, right, if I've already paid the premium, and then after the detailed assessment, etc., I get to know that, okay, my policy is rejected. In such scenarios, is there no way that I can get a life insurance policy? Now, this could be because of certain personal habits or certain medical conditions. Is there basically no room for, these people getting a life insurance policy?
If it has been absolutely rejected on certain grounds as health or things like that, then yes, it becomes very difficult for them to get a insurance policy which has a death cover or a sum assured cover. There are certain policies in life insurance also, which we call as zero DB policies. Matlab they have zero death benefit.
Okay.
There will be no sum assured. So these will be purely the customer uses life insurance product, these life insurance products, more as an investment tool.
Okay. All right.
So
Got
there
it.
is no, because if your case has been rejected on a health insurance, or sorry, on health grounds, then it is very difficult to get it changed, unless it's like for reasons like say for example a person who had high diabetes
Hmm.
and he was charged certain extra money
Hmm.
because of his diabetes. So he
Right.
can, decide to take his policy after 6 months. He can make certain changes. He can reevaluate himself after a certain time. And it can make, matlab, the underwriting decision may or may not change. But he can put in
Actually,
that effort.
right. So Benita just wrote, on our community, we actually had someone talk about this. Her policy was rejected after, of course, she paid the premium. Her policy was rejected because of the BMI being too high. Uh, I think that is something which is in under the person's control, right? In the person's
Absolutely. So,
control.
like I said, so certain times, very frankly, so there are certain times that a person's stress levels, or maybe he's going through a bad phase, maybe at office, or maybe personal life. So, say his certain parameters, medical parameters, are slightly up and down. It can be as
Hmm.
simple as due to stress or like a BMI. So these are
Yeah, yeah.
still things which you can reverse the effect,
Okay.
and you can maybe apply after 6 months or maybe after a year, after you've actually tried to change those lifestyle habits or those reasons. Which, so BMI is something that is still in our control.
Hmm.
BMI at the end of the day is height and weight. Height you might not be able to change, but weight is something, yes, that you can definitely make an effort to make some changes. So this
Because
might
the
help.
fundamental being your risk assessment, right? Because
Yes,
that's the
yes,
basis, which is why they have to consider that as a parameter.
absolutely.
Even if it sounds a little bizarre, right? That I'm not like, getting a life insurance policy. It's just in today's day and age, if you look at it very objectively, it doesn't sound right.
True.
But all right. Okay. Priya, I'm going to take a couple of questions. Let us talk about money back. Should we take or long term? So, policy with a money back feature or long term? Which one should one go for?
Uh, so again, like I said, it is goal. So for example, say the goal of the person is he's just had a newborn baby, and he wants to invest money for the next 10 years, and say he wants some kind of a money back uh, from the 11th year onwards.
Okay.
Because say 11th, the child has usually reached 6th standard, that means high school, tuitions, all these, expenditure, school expenditure start mounting. So
Right.
maybe as a parent, he would want a regular money coming back from the 11th year. So he would want a money back after 11th year.
Okay.
Say for somebody, they say that, I schooling up to 12th standard, I'm ready to take care of the expenditure. I want a lump sum money coming at the age of 20, because that's when my son or daughter will be entering their, graduation, or maybe planning for a post graduation. So I want on my son or my daughter's 21st birthday a lump sum.
Hmm.
So the goal has now shifted. So money
Right.
back. So there is no, is it money back or is it long term?
Depends on your goal,
It
basically. Depends.
depends on what is the goal that you're planning for.
Right.
Say, for example, a person on his wife's 50th birthday, gifts her a policy where the husband pays the premium for the next 10 years. And from the 61st year of the wife's birthday, every year on her birthday, she starts getting some money back. Every year for the next 10 years. And this, from 61 to 70, the husband and wife are going to go on a holiday every year to celebrate her birthday. So it's a goal that you are trying to identify and save for it.
Understood. All right. Next question, and this is very interesting. What if I need more coverage in future? So what if I've already bought a policy and I feel that, okay, I need more coverage? And I think here comes another very important question, which is how much insurance cover should I actually go for? How do I decide that? How much insurance cover do I need?
So I'll just answer. I think I'll answer it from the second one, because then it builds up the story. Yeah. So there is something called a human life value, that you are earning today. Say for example, you have a person, say Priya is earning 5 lakh rupees today, and she has an expenditure of 3 lakh rupees.
Okay.
I'm keeping all the rest aside. So, just understand that, say my income is not going to increase and there is no such thing as inflation. Priya is a 30-year-old woman, and she's earning 5 lakh rupees, and she's 30 and she's going to earn for the next 30 years till the age of 60. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it, if say my annual salary is 5 lakh rupees. So for next 30 years, the corpus that I am going to bring in, the money that I am going to bring in is 1.5 crores. And 3 lakh rupees is my annual expenditure. Again, considering that my expenditure is not going to increase and it's stagnant like my income, I'm incurring a 90 lakh rupees as my expenditure. So if you look at it, what is it that, if say something happens to Priya at the age of 40, the last 20 years, that income is going to stop coming. But this 3 lakh expenditure, say it's an expenditure towards household expenditure, my children's education, that is not going to stop. EMI. So that is where, the concept of human value comes in. So as a thumb rule, you should look at having at least 10 times cover of what you're earning. So if you're earning 5 lakhs, a 50 lakhs kind of a cover should be at least the ideal amount that you should look at insuring yourself.
All right.
Okay, answering her first question, that a Priya at 25 taking an insurance, I've just started my first job or second job or whatever. I take an insurance. My salary is also low. So accordingly, I am, say at 25, I'm not married. My, liabilities in life are limited. So the way I would look at it, I don't need financially, I will not be eligible for a 2 crore kind of a cover. So say at 25, I'm eligible for a 50 lakhs cover. Please take that 50 lakhs cover, because once you take that insurance cover, your premium gets fixed. Because at 25, you will start paying whatever premium. Say if the premium was 5,000 rupees, this 5,000 is now fixed for the next 35 years. If I take a policy up to 60. Say Priya now at 35, my salary has increased. My liabilities have increased. So a 50 lakhs cover is no longer enough for me. But financially also, because I'm in a higher bracket of income. So automatically I am eligible for a higher cover financially.
Correct.
So 50 lakhs. So maybe I'll take another 50 lakhs.
Got it.
So this is how you can increase your life insurance cover.
So you have an option of increasing your premium on your existing policy.
Yeah. All right. Of course, certain insurance policies we also have based on certain times of your life. So for example, when I take a policy today, I am not married. 5 years down the line, I get married. Automatically, in the same policy that I have already got, I can increase my cover because of my marriage or because of having children. So these are, you can do these. There are available in the market. Yes.
Okay. All right. Rebecca is asking till what age one can take life insurance?
Most of the life insurance covers, a person can opt in usually till the age of 60. Of course, there are certain policies where you can take it up to the age of 65 also.
All right.
But like I always said, the longer the older you are, health complications, other factors start kicking in. So it is always better. Term insurance, the younger you are, you should always take in and keep adding to it as your income increases, but do plan for it from a young age.
All right. Okay. Okay, Rebecca, I hope that answers your question. All right, now let's come to an important part, which is tax benefits on buying life insurance. If I actually, because a lot of investments and also, for example, health insurance does give you certain amount of tax benefits. What about life insurance?
So life insurance under Section 80C, you are able to claim the premium that you're paying. You do get tax benefits under that. Certain health, the premium that goes towards covering certain health, this thing. So for example, there's a critical illness cover attached to your term insurance. So the premium that goes towards your critical illness cover, that can be claimed under Section 80D. And as per the terms and conditions of the policy that you're taking, under Section 1010D, the life insurance proceeds also do tend to become tax-free.
Okay, so once it's claimed, that amount.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Any other questions? We're open for questions now. I think we've pretty much covered everything. I understand life insurance really well now. Thank you, Priya.
Thanks a lot.
I think this is going to be my dinner table conversation now. All right. I think there's one question that we missed. Sumit has asked, what is insurable interest and solvency margin?
Insurable interest, basically, so for example, say I meet you for the first time. There is no insurable interest between both of us. I mean, I can't take a policy where I say, okay, I will take an insurance on your life. There is no insurable interest. Similarly, say for example, a company can take policy on their employees' life because there is an insurable interest. A parent, of course, I take policy on my own life because I have an insurable interest in my own life. Something happens to me, my family gets money. A husband can take policy on his wife. A parent can take policy on children. A grandparent can take policy on their grandchildren because there is an insurable interest. They are trying to, this thing. But sometimes insurable interest doesn't work in the reverse. A child cannot take on a parent's life. I cannot take on your life. There is no concept of insurable interest. Insurable interest basically means that, you should not, take that insurance policy on somebody's life to financially benefit on that person's death.
Got it. All right.
Solvency margin, I didn't understand with what concept, with what context he's asking on solvency margin.
All right. Okay. Let's wait if we get more details on that. Nidhi is asking, what is hybrid term insurance? I think this would be the blended products, right?
So, I think hybrid term insurance, term insurance, you take it with certain riders. So you can have a rider such as accidental death rider, which I already spoke to you about. You can have a critical illness rider. Term insurance can also be blended, so that you can have the return of premium. So many people feel that, term insurance pays out the money to my family in case of my death. But what happens if I don't die? My premiums that I've paid to the company to cover my life, mentally we think, okay, they have gone to a waste. I paid so much money as premium, and I did not die. So all those premiums, if I survive, you might look back and say, oh, premium pura waste ho gaya. So you have products which give return of premium. So those are maybe what the person is talking about as a hybrid term insurance.
Sure.
Where there are riders attached, or the premium that you pay towards your term insurance can be returned back to the payer.
Got it. All right. Someone is asking top-up policies. I think Priya already spoke about riders. Priya, top-up policies are riders, right? Or is there a difference?
No. So top-up policies, basically, like I told you, of course, in term insurance, top-up, if I can use the word, it might be if, like I said, when you get married or when you have children, it's not top-up, but yes, you can enhance your cover because of
Great.
certain, junctures in your life or milestones, personal milestones in your life. Top-up are more usually the terminology used in ULIP products. So, for example, when you have invested in a ULIP policy, which is unit-linked insurance plan, so these are money that are invested in the market. So a top-up is when a customer has a certain amount of money, which he would like to put it in the same policy as a top-up.
Okay.
And that gets invested again in the equity market.
All right. Understood. Okay. Which one should we prefer, money back or pure term? Sudhanshu, I think we've already covered this. The video is going to be on our Lakshmi Facebook page, so you can refer to that later. What happens if nothing happens to me in that period? Should I buy a new one? So, Priya, you can go for it. I think this is what you should keep upgrading, right? With suppose if I'm 20 years old and I buy a policy today for the next 30 years, maybe 10 years later, I again sort of increase my premium and also the timeline, correct?
Absolutely. So, generally, a term insurance, say a person who's buying it at 25, he's not going to buy it till 35. Generally, people buy term insurance to cover your earning life.
Correct.
So, say a person took a policy at 25, he would have optimally taken a cover till 60 for the next 35 years. So, say you are now 35, you'll take it for the next 25. So, you keep taking it. Again, if it is from a point of a policy for investment and savings kind of a product, say you put it for 10 years, you have now got your lump sum back, you can take another policy.
Sure. All right. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, Priya. Thank you so much for being here today with us and guiding us through everything about life insurance. The video is going to be saved. It is going to be on the Lakshmi page. So in case you want to get back and get some, if you have any doubts, if you have any questions, I think you'll find all answers on this video. And you could also leave comments later. And of course, we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priya. So much. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night. Thank you for spending your Friday night with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.